Welcome to tonight's video on the Venn diagrams, and we'll start talking about matrices. So first of all, looking at a Venn diagram here, we can determine certain things. Like for example, we can determine what all the elements are in the circle H, and those are all the ones that are inside. So like, and we'll put them in numerical order: 5, 8, 13, 15, and 17. All the ones in the circle G. So we talk about 3, 7, 8, 17, and 19. Remember, U means union. It means if you put G and H together, so everything that's in G and H, basically, this means and. So, or. So basically anything that's in the circle G or the circle H. So we'll talk about 3, 5, 7, 8, 13, 15, 17, and 19. This N means intersection. And that means and. So that means it has to be in both G and H. So the only things that are in both G and H are in the overlap here, and that is 8 and 17. All right, so if you look at the next one, 32, it is similar. B, so it has 30, 35, 40, and then 65 and 90. And then intersection, so the intersection, remember, is right here, the overlap, so that's just 65 and 90. Union means to put these together, so 10, 30, 35, 40, 60, 65, and 90. So all the numbers basically. And just C is all the ones in C. So 10, 60, 65, 90. So the last one here in H, so you'd have 4, 8, 10, 17, and 19. The intersection is right here, so just 4 and 19. And then K is 1, 4, or 5, 6, and 19. And then the union is putting it all together. So 1, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 17, 19. All right, so next, using the Venn diagram to help you with probability. So looking at the first one, it says how many students like rugby or surfing? And I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can get this all on the same page here. So if you look, how many of them like rugby or surfing? So basically, or surfing means that it's a union of rugby and surfing. So you have to put together the rugby and the surfing. So if you add these all up, so basically you have 21 plus 12 plus 19 plus 7 plus 16, that's all these, plus 4, you get 79. How many students do not like rugby and hockey, meaning they only like one or the other or neither? So basically the ones you eliminate are the intersection. So the only ones to take into consideration here are 21 plus 12 plus 4, and even this 8 over here counts, plus 8 plus the 7 here, and plus the 13, and that gives you 65. How many students like rugby or surfing but not hockey? So they can like rugby or surfing but not hockey. So you can eliminate the 16, the 7, the 19, and the 13. So just the 21 plus 12 plus 4. So that's 37. So then how many of the students like both rugby and hockey but not surfing? That's just this little thing here, so just 16. How many students like rugby or hockey but not surfing? So basically they can like rugby or hockey. So they can like either one of these but not the surfing. So you take that away. So basically it would be 21 plus 16 plus 13. And that would give you 50. How many students like hockey or surfing but not rugby? So they can like hockey or surfing but not the rugby. So that takes away all of these in here. So it's just 13 plus 7 plus 4, which is 24. How many students do not like either rugby or surfing? So they can't be in the rugby or surfing. So the only ones that do not like rugby or surfing are the 13 here and the 8 that don't like anything. How many students like both rugby and hockey? So how many students like both rugby and hockey? Well, rugby and hockey here mean you get 16 and 19. That's where they overlap. So you get 35. How many students do not like either rugby or hockey? Well, you have the 4 that like surfing and the 8 that don't like anything. And then how many students like both rugby and surfing, but not hockey? Rugby and surfing, but not hockey would be these 12 right there. All right. On to matrices. So matrices, first thing we're going to do is add and subtract a matrix. A matrix is just a grouping of numbers. And remember, with a matrices are labeled by rows by columns. So for example, this is a 1 by 4. It has one row with 4 columns. Because remember, rows go this way, columns go up and down. So this here is a 4 by 1. Now in order to add, you must have the same rows and columns. So they must be identical in their dimensions. So for example here, when I add, I'm going to get a 1 by 4 matrix. I'm going to add 2 plus -1 and get 1. 0 plus -3 gives me -3. -6 plus 5 gives me -1. 4 plus 1 gives me 5. That is the final answer. Now here, because notice there are 2 different dimensions, that's when it's undefined. You cannot add them or subtract. So if you look at number 3, so 1 minus -3 is 4. 2 minus 4 is -2. -6 minus 0 is -6. -3 minus 6 is -9. -2 minus a -5 is a +3. Because remember, minus a minus gives you a plus. And then -6 minus 5 is -1. Here, when you add, 5 plus 3 is 8. 3 plus 6 is 9. -6 plus -5 is -11. 5 plus 7, or 5 plus 2 is 7. Same thing for these ones. You're going to add and subtract. The only difference in number 8 is undefined because they are not identical dimensions. This is a 2 by 3 and this is a 3 by 2. They are not the same dimensions. All right, I'll give you a chance to work on these three, and then I'll show you the answers. All right, so there are the answers for those ones, so you could check on your own. So now we're going to start multiplying by what's called a scalar. So if you multiply by a number, basically this number just gets multiplied by each term. It's kind of like distributive property. So -3 times -2 gives you 6. -3 times -3 gives you 9. -3 times -6 gives you 18. And -3 times -3 gives you +9. Same thing here. So -4 times 0 is 0. -4 times -4 is 16. -4 times 1 is 4. -4 times -5 is 20. -4 times 4 is -16. -4 times -6 is +24. All right, so then it's on to multiplication. And multiplication, when you look at the matrices have to have the same number of columns in the first one as they do rows in the second one. So for example, this is a 2 by 3, and this is a 3 by 2. So notice these two numbers here have to match up in order to be able to multiply. Because when you multiply these three by those, so you go row by column. So for example, here, -4 times -3 is -12. And then you add it to -2 times -5, which is +10. Or sorry, -4 times -3 is +12. So yeah, and then plus -2 times -5 is +10, plus 4 times 6, which is 24. So then you do the same thing with the -6. You go -6 times -3 is 18. So now you go here and down. So 18, and then -3 times -5 is 15, and -1 times 6 is -6. And then you do the same thing, except now we're going with this row and this column. So we go -4 times -5 and gives you 20. -2 and 1 gives you -2. And 4 and -6 gives you -24. And then with this row and that column, so -6 times -5 is 30. And then -3 times 1 is -3. And -1 times -6 is +6. So when you add them all together, you get 46. 33 minus 6, 27. 18 minus 24 is -6. And then 27 plus 6 is 33. And that is your matrix for number 11. Now, you can also do these operations with the multiplication stuff in your calculator as well. If you look here, up above here it says matrix. So if you go second function and then hit that, the -1, it says matrix. Now, you're going to edit the first matrix, hit enter. So now, if you look, this will be your A and this will be your B. So the A is a 2 by 2, and the B is also a 2 by 2. So when we come over here to A, we're gonna make it a 2 by 2. Sorry, there you go. And then we're gonna edit the numbers. So the first ones are 3, 6, 1, 4. So it goes to, sorry, I gotta get the keys so I can type it in. It goes to 3. So you type in 3 and hit enter, and then it gets there, and then you hit 6 and hit enter, and then the next column, sorry I have to go back, is 1 and 4. So the next row is 1 and 4. So it's 1 and then 4. Hit enter. So that's matrix A. So then you want to hit second matrix, and you want to edit matrix B. So you go to edit and matrix B, and you also want that to be a 2 by 2 because that's what matrix B is. So then matrix B, the first number is going to be 3. And hit enter, and then the next one is -4. You hit enter, and then it's -4, enter, and then +3. And hit enter. So there's matrix B. And then you quit. So now you want to multiply them, so you go second matrix and hit A, and then times second matrix and hit B, and hit enter, and it gives you your resulting matrix that you would want. It gives you the answer of -15, 6, -13, 8. So that's how you multiply. Now, be careful because this one is a 2 by 3, and this one is also a 2 by 3. So notice the columns of the first one don't match the rows of the second one. So this one would actually be undefined. Remember, the rows and columns have to match up in order to be able to multiply them. All right, that ends our video today. And I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good evening.